The silence in our house didn't happen all at once. It crept in like a cold fog, settling into the corners of our marriage until I could no longer see the man I had married 10 years ago. My name is Evelyn, and for a long time, I blamed the silence on Daniel's promotion at the firm. I told myself that late nights and hushed phone calls were just the price of success in the suburbs of Maryland. I was wrong. The suspense began on a humid Friday night in July. Daniel was in the shower, and his phone buzzed on the nightstand. Usually I never looked, but that night, the screen stayed lit long enough for me to see a notification from a contact saved only as M. I can't hide the butt much longer, Dan. She has to know. Or I'm coming to the house. My heart didn't just beat. It hammered against my ribs like a trapped bird. I stared at the phone until the screen went black, reflecting my own pale, terrified face. When Daniel stepped out of the bathroom, steam clinging to his skin, he looked so ordinary, so safe. "Everything okay, Evie?" he asked, reaching for his towel. "Who is M. Daniel?" My voice came out as a thin whisper. He froze. For a second, the mask slipped. His eyes darted to the phone, then back to me. He let out a forced, airy laugh. "M? Oh, that's Marcus. From the junior audit team. He's having some personal issues." "Why?" "Marcus is worried about a bump." I asked, my voice rising. "Marcus is threatening to come to our house." Daniel walked over and took my hands. They were cold. "You're stressed, honey. You're misreading things. Marcus has a protruding disc in his back, a bump. He's been cranky about the medical leave." I wanted to believe him. I needed to. So I let him kiss my forehead and lead me to bed, even though my skin crawled where he touched me. 4 months after that, the heartbreak was a slow poison. I watched him guard his phone like a weapon. I smelled a perfume on his shirts that wasn't mine, something cheap and floral, the scent of someone much younger. The explosion happened on a rainy Tuesday in October. I was in the kitchen, staring at a cold plate of pasta, when the doorbell rang. It wasn't a polite ring. It was a frantic, rhythmic pounding. I opened the door to find a girl who couldn't have been more than 24. She was drenched, her blonde hair plastered to her cheeks, and she was clutching a large suitcase. But it was her coat that stopped my breath. It was unbuttoned, revealing an unmistakable swell at her waist. "Is he here?" she demanded, pushing past me into the foyer. Daniel, get down here." Daniel came running down the stairs, his face turning a sickly shade of gray the moment he saw her. "Mary, what are you doing? Get out of here right now." "I'm done, Daniel," Mary screamed, her voice cracking with a mix of rage and hormones. "The landlord kicked me out because I couldn't pay the rent on that secret apartment you promised to cover. I'm 12 weeks along with your son, and I am not sleeping in my car while your wife sits in this mansion." I felt the world tilt. I grabbed the back of a chair to keep from collapsing. "A year," I whispered. "You've been keeping her in an apartment for a year?" Daniel turned to me, his hands shaking. "Evelyn, it's not what it looks like. She's unstable. She's obsessed with me." "Obsessed?" Mary shrieked, reaching into her purse and throwing a stack of photos onto the floor. They scattered like autumn leaves. Photos of them at a beach. Photos of them in bed. A sonogram with Daniel's last name typed at the top. "He told me you were a roommate, Evelyn. He told me the marriage was a legal formality and that you were seeing other people." I looked at Daniel, the man I'd supported through law school, the man I'd nursed through the flu, the man I thought was my soulmate. "Did you tell her that?" I asked, my voice cracking. "Did you tell her I was just a roommate?" I said what I had to say to keep things quiet. Daniel snapped, his true colors finally bleeding through. The steady husband was gone, replaced by a desperate, selfish stranger. "I was going to handle it, Evelyn. I was going to give her money to go away once the baby was born." "Handle it?" I walked right up to him, the heartbreak turning into a white-hot flame of fury. I slapped him. The sound echoed through the high ceilings of the foyer. "You brought a child into this mess. You spent a year lying to my face, sleeping in my bed, and then going to her." Mary stepped forward, her eyes hard. Move over, Evelyn. I'm moving into the guest room. Daniel said this is half his house, and he wants his son here. His son. I laughed. A jagged, hysterical sound. You want this house, Mary? You want this man? Look at him. Look at how he treats the woman he swore to love for life. You think you're special? You're just the next person he's going to lie to. I turned to Daniel, pointing a finger at the door.
Get out.
Evelyn, be reasonable, Daniel pleaded. It's raining. She has nowhere to go. Then take her to a motel. I screamed, grabbing Mary's suitcase and hurling it out the open front door into the mud. Take your new family and get off my property. If you're not gone in 3 minutes, I am calling the police, the neighbors, and your boss at the firm. I will tell everyone exactly what kind of analyst you really are. Daniel looked at the rain, then at Mary, then at me. He saw the fire in my eyes and realized the roommate was gone. He grabbed his briefcase and Mary's arm, dragging her out into the storm. This isn't over, Evelyn. Mary yelled back, her voice muffled by the wind. Oh, it is over. I whispered to the empty hallway, locking the door and sliding the chain into place. I leaned my head against the wood and listened to their muffled arguing in the driveway until their car pulled away. The silence returned to the house, but this time it was different. It wasn't the silence of secrets. It was the silence of a clean slate. I walked to the kitchen, picked up the photos of their betrayal, and dropped them one by one into the trash. My heart was broken, yes, but for the first time in a year, I could finally breathe. It's been 6 months since that rainy October night. The divorce papers are finalized, and I kept the house. Daniel is living in a small 2-bedroom apartment with Mary and their newborn son. From what I hear through mutual friends, the fairy tale he promised her has turned into a nightmare of sleepless nights and constant arguing. He's facing a disciplinary hearing at work, and his reputation is in tatters. As for me, I am learning who Evelyn is without Daniel. Some days are hard, and the betrayal still stings like an open wound, but I am surrounded by people who actually love me. I've realized that being alone is much better than being with someone who makes you feel lonely. But now, I want to hear from you. I know I'm not the only one who has faced a betrayal like this. What should I do next? Daniel has been sending me emails lately, begging for a civil conversation for the sake of our shared history. Mary has even messaged me on social media, crying about how hard it is and asking for financial help because Daniel's salary is being garnished. Should I ignore them completely? Or do I owe them some form of closure? Please leave your advice in the comments below. Your stories and your strength help me get through the day. And if you want to follow my journey as I rebuild my life and find my happiness again, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be sharing more updates soon. Stay strong, everyone.